I don't really play it. I don't really like it.
Well, you see, that is where my editing magic comes in and cuts that part out. This is it. This is the Saliens Podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I think before we get into the real meat of this amazing, or what should hopefully be an amazing podcast, I think we should introduce ourselves so the listeners can feel right at home. So I'm known as csticks on Steam, or you might also know me as RenovatedMars here on YouTube. I'm currently level 16 in Saliens, and I'm fighting for SteamDB.
I'm King Tomato on Steam, and I'm like level 6 in Saliens or something.
This is only going to be hosted on YouTube, and I know, like, I never listen to podcasts on YouTube, and I kind of hate podcasts that are exclusive to YouTube, but I don't really want to spend any money on a podcast that's just going to last for maybe 6 episodes. If one of you guys wants to host a podcast, I might in the future put these episodes on a Creative Commons license or something, so that way anyone can rehost them without having to get my permission. I might do that in the future if there's a demand for it, but for the time being, it's going to be a YouTube exclusive podcast. By some miracle, if you don't know what Saliens is, I mean, you're listening to a Saliens podcast, so I'd imagine you know what it is. But just in case you don't, Saliens is Valve's latest game, and it came out just over like a week ago. And basically, it's a game where you have to kill doldrums, these like little aliens guys, hence the name Saliens. And it just lasts the entirety of the summer sale. And as you kill them, you get XP, which gives you levels, and the higher level you have, the higher the Steam badge. There's a Steam badge that goes with this game. The higher your Steam badge is. And there's also giveaways that go with the game, and a pretty big community is spread around this game. I mean, there's currently like a few thousand people subscribed to r/Saliens, and another few thousand in the Discord. Yeah, I guess now that we have all of the introduction fluff out of the way, why don't we just dig right into the meat of the podcast here? Just a little warning, a lot of this stuff is going to be really time sensitive, so if we talk about something, tomorrow, or even in a few hours after this goes live, the game could have completely changed. Like, just a few hours ago, there was bosses added, for example, so I kind of had to do a little bit of changing of the podcast layout here. But why don't we go ahead and start talking about the botting scandal from a couple days ago. Like I was saying earlier, in this game, you can win free games through playing the game. So the longer you play or the longer you stay on any given planet, the more likely it is you'll win a free game. And I only give out like 100 of each game, so it's really small, your chances. Well, some people created bots to try to win free games. Well, also, they were trying to get, trading cards and stuff. Basically, when you play the game, you also get trading cards. I don't know. I think this is really scummy. People using bots to try to win free games. How do you feel about this, King Tomato?
It sounds kind of dumb and, against the Saliens, the spirit of Saliens.
I know. I actually think Valve might have banned some of these bots. I was reading on, I think it was r/Steam, that Valve was going to take action on some of the people who had used bots to try to game the giveaways. I'm not really sure what the point is, though, because I think there is a $5 limit. You know how there's a Steam limit? You have to spend $5 in order to unlock your Steam account?
Yeah.
I think you have to unlock your account in order to play Saliens, so I don't even know how these guys were even making any money or whatever. It's possible they've had these accounts for a long time. I'm glad these bots are getting banned. I think people who played and who entered the giveaway should have an equal chance of winning compared to other people. With any giveaways in the US, there's actually legally, in order to make it a giveaway and not like a lottery or what, I don't know what the word is for it. In order to make it not gambling, basically, you have to have some sort of way of free entry. So most companies, including for the Saliens game, will have you mail in a postal card with your personal information on it, and it'll enter you into the giveaway. So that's actually kind of cool. So if you don't want to play Saliens, you can send in a little card with your Steam name and email and some other personal info, and you'll be entered to win one of the free games. So
That sounds easy to abuse. Could you just send? Although I guess if you have to get personal information, it'd be harder.
yeah, well, they usually have in the terms limit 1 per person or limit 5 per person or whatever. If they wanted to be really insane, they could say limit 100 per person, and then they'd have to send in 1,000,000 or 100 postal cards or whatever. I figured for this podcast, Saliens itself is a pretty simple game. There's not really too much that we can really go into detail with. However, the community around this game has blown up. There have been so many efforts to get the badges, the level 6 Steam badge, and to really just work together to try to conquer each planet. And I want to talk about a few of the communities today. So, the first one, which is maybe one of the biggest, actually, that's not true. There's definitely bigger Steam groups out here than this, but it's the one I frequent the most. It's r/Saliens. This subreddit was created the day of the Saliens game was created. And basically, anytime a new thing comes out in Saliens, or anytime anything that happens in Saliens, will just get posted there immediately. And so things such as scripts and different websites, people have been making websites that show all of each planet's stats, like how many hard tiles each one has, what groups are currently winning on each planet, stuff like that. They've been making websites, which I think is really neat. And I've actually used some of them before. There's one called Elon Case. Actually, I think that's the name of the guy who made it, but yeah, I used that one a handful of times when I was scripting myself. Have you seen r/Saliens, Tomato?
I think I've been there once.
Yeah, did you enjoy your stay?
No, not particularly. I was only there for 2 minutes.
Well, if you didn't like it, what didn't you like about it? I think the community's pretty good, at least in my opinion. It's not too toxic. Some games communities can get really bad, but I think Saliens, there's not very much toxicity for a Valve mini game, but well, the other place that spawned is a Summer Saliens Discord server. Now, I haven't actually, to be quite honest, I haven't spent too much time in this place. So I don't know if it's a very good community or whatever. I don't know if, the people are there mean or whatever. I think they're pretty good, if it's anything like r/Saliens. Yeah, so a lot of the, huge scripters and stuff are part of the Summer Saliens Discord. They have they have their own giveaways and stuff. They have, they have anything you'd expect from a normal Discord, memes channel, and just general discussion about Saliens itself. Do you have anything to add?
There's also, I think that there's the Saliens Steam group that's separate from the one on Reddit.
Yeah, you're right. So basically, there's been a bunch of Steam group communities. I'm glad you brought this up. There's a bunch of Steam communities. There's Steam Universe, SteamDB, and a handful of others that have been trying to claim some of the spots on the planets for themselves. I don't know if Steam Universe, it was really big at the beginning. I think it's because it's one of the largest groups on Steam. So I think that's why it was winning at the beginning, because of the sheer number of people on there. SteamDB, I think, is starting to pull ahead because of the script. The first, I would say, is probably the first script for this game. The first real good script is the SteamDB PHP script named SalienCheat, and that used to be a SteamDB exclusive. You had to be in the group to use it. That's since been changed, but I think that's one reason why it's risen to the top. Bunch of different groups have been using different strategies to try to win. There have been some groups, some really small groups I remember seeing, who will target low tiles to try to claim it as their own, to get their little group on the map. And the reason for that is because the SteamDB script will automatically try to go for high tiles because they provide more XP. They provide a higher XP amount than the medium or easy tiles. So they go for the low tiles, when a new planet comes out, they'll go straight for the low tiles because they want to have their face on the map, and because they know that SteamDB won't get to those tiles until all of the other tiles are gone. Steam groups are another huge part of this game. It's literally built into the game. You can set your flag. Well, why don't we talk about what we've been doing during the Saliens game? Personally, I've been running the the SteamDB PHP script since day 2 of the sale, and I've been running it while I'm awake. I haven't been doing it while I'm asleep, so it's probably 14 hours a day or so, around that amount. What have you been doing during the Saliens event?
I played it without scripts for a little while, and then I couldn't get my script to work. I think I was just trying to launch the script instead of putting it in the browser.
Were you trying to use the Idle.js script, or were you trying to use...
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Okay, yeah, that one's like probably the easiest script to get running because you don't have to download anything. You just do Control-Shift-J on the Saliens page, and then you just paste it into your console, and that's it. That's all you have to do. That was what I was using at the beginning, actually. Actually, come to think of it, I wasn't using the PHP script since the beginning. I lied. I was using the idle.js script, or its proper name is nsing2 Salien game idler. I was using that for not the first 2 days, but the days 2 and 3 of the sale. And then after that, I downloaded PHP and the PHP script, and I've been using that ever since. The PHP script is like constantly updating. So I also downloaded a auto updater for that. Someone on the Saliens subreddit, I don't know, it was a while ago, maybe a few days ago. They uploaded their own little script as well as like a little tutorial on how to set it up. And so I've been using their auto updater for the SalienCheat thing. And it's worked so far. I haven't run into too many errors with the SalienCheat one. Yeah, it's a good script. Speaking of the PHP script, the guy who makes it, xPaw, he, I believe, at one point was the top player, the top Saliens player. Like, he had the most XP. I believe he works for SteamDB. Actually, I think he actually is one of the people who work on SteamDB. I'm not sure if he like made it or whatever. He might have actually been the guy who made SteamDB, but yeah, actually, yeah, I'm looking at his profile now. I think he did make SteamDB. So this guy is pretty big, and he found an exploit in the game that let him submit scores like multiple times per round. I don't really know very much about the technical aspect of the game. I've just been like scripting and stuff. So I might get this wrong, but I believe he was submitting scores multiple times in the game, and so he was able to get XP like really quickly. He got up to like level 25, even before bosses were implemented. The exploit he actually like submitted the glitch to Valve, and they actually patched it. Yeah, I don't know. Some people were getting kind of mad that he reported it, but you know, what can you do? Do you think it's good that he reported the exploit or whatever? Like, what's your opinion?
That's good of him, but I don't know. I think a lot of people would have liked it if he hadn't.
You know, he's been doing so much for this event already. You know, he helped make the SalienCheat script, and he, you know, is a big player in SteamDB. I'm pretty sure he's the founder. I might have got that wrong, so sorry about that, but I'm not going to give him too much flack just because he reported a bug. Some people got really upset about that, but honestly, I think there are bigger things to worry about than getting mad over a guy. Yeah, Saliens. A lot of people have been comparing Saliens to last year's summer sale, right?
Didn't they do something similar?
Not last year's, 2015's. Yeah, they did. I believe it was like a clicker game or something. Were you there for the 2015?
No, I wasn't there for that.
I think it's actually built into the lore. Like, you know how there's like little text below the game?
Yep.
I'm pretty sure that is lore that goes back to the 2015 game.
Wow, that's...
Yeah, this is the IP that Valve cares most about. You know, Dota, like CSGO, like, Valve doesn't give a crap. It's the Saliens lore that they care about. And people have kind of... Well, the lore is mostly kind of a joke, because this is kind of just a little small mini game or whatever. People have kind of been talking about it. Why are the doldrums doing what they're doing or whatever?
Yeah.
I actually don't really know like too much about the lore, because I wasn't there for the 2015 event. Salient fashion has been a talking point in the Saliens community. What your Salien looks like. You know, most people are just running scripts, so they don't even get to see what their Salien looks like most of the time. But there's a bunch of shirts and stuff you can put on your Salien, or like outfits or whatever, and you can choose which type it is, like Goo, Psychic, or Beast, or whatever. So what does your Salien look like?
It's a green guy with like a pirate hat or something.
Have you been getting new like outfits and stuff for him?
I've gotten a few. I opened that spring cleaning box from the earlier event, and I got a couple Salien hats or something.
I got some stuff from that as well. I remember people were actually kind of disappointed with that box. They were hoping to get free games or whatever from that. I think Salien's gear, it's not ideal, but it's better than nothing, right? And you can still sell it for a few cents. I mean, granted, there's so many listings for it, you probably couldn't, but you could try to sell it for a cent or two. You know, Steam does take a cut. My Salien is just a orange beast with safety goggles on his head, kind of like a scientist would wear. And then the portal turret outfit. So it kind of looks like he's like a little scientist. So we already kind of touched on scripting, but I think this is the main effort that the community has really been doing. Like, this is where they've been allocating their time. We talked about xPaws and SteamDB's SalienCheat, and that's the one I've been using now. They've updated that for a bunch of different languages. Well, actually, I think it's just Python. Actually, hold on, let me check. It's PHP and Python, I believe. They might also have something else. Yeah, they have Python and then some things called Vagrant and Docker. Those might just be like programs to open scripts, so I'm actually not too sure what those things are. I had to download PHP for those scripts, so it's a little inconvenient for that. But if you have Python on your computer, you can just use that. And then the game idler, the in-browser one, that one's really useful. It has a little GUI that goes with it as well. Now, granted, it takes up way more resources than the PHP script because it's running in a browser. It probably takes more electricity than the other script. That one might not be great in the long term, but it's definitely good if it's like your first script or whatever and you just want to give it a try. However, this late into the event, I'm recording this on like day 8 of the event, something like that. You might not even want to get started. You could probably still get like rank 4 or 5. Then there was also some other ones. I saw Headless Salient Script in Node.js by Southpaw. This one was another really big one. I think this one's even easier to install than the SalienCheat. So really, you can't go wrong if you want a script in this game. People have made it so convenient at this point that if you want to get scripting, all you have to do is like download and run something, or just like copy and paste something, and you're already good. Yeah, scripting is a huge part of this game. Like, it's almost like a hidden thing in this game. Like, your average player isn't going to think to script the game, but if you even take 1 second to look at the r/saliens, you're going to know that you should be using a script in order to get the highest badge level. You know, like, I think Valve might have even designed the game around scripting, and, you know, people have asked, like, can you get banned for using scripts? Like, no, you can't, because Valve wants you to script. That's, like, really the only way you can get rank 25, at least at the moment. If they do enough bosses, then it's possible you could hit rank 25 without scripting, but I kind of doubt that. So, I was talking to you this about earlier, I believe. Actually, no, maybe I didn't. I don't know. We'll see if you remember. Heroku is a website where people can, I believe, just, like, create web apps and just run code in the cloud. The SalienCheat script got updated with the deploy button. Like, it was actually in the README file of the script. It said, like, deploy to Heroku. And I believe Heroku is actually banning accounts that run SalienCheat on them. So, this is kind of a big deal. People were using Heroku as their 24/7 script runner, and now they can't really do that anymore. I guess it's against Heroku's terms of service. I think something was wrong with the script, like you had to have some sort of like user agent thing defined or something, and the script didn't do that. Also, you're not allowed to use scripts to target third-party websites or something, so I think that was another reason they banned it. But I think perhaps one of the main reasons why is because they don't want a bunch of people leeching off their service just to run a dumb script. Do you think it's good that Heroku's suspending people who are trying to run the SalienCheat on their servers?
I think it's really up to them, but I do think that Steam does want you to use scripts to run it.
Yeah, definitely.
If you don't use scripts, it's a pretty boring game, to be honest.
Yeah, I think the most fun of this game comes out of the community and what the community does around this game, because the game itself, it's good flash game. It's good, 10-minute fun. Hold down the one button while you spam click, but it's the community that makes this game. The scripters, the people who work hard for the community, so that way everyone can get their level 6 Saliens badge. People like us who are creating content for the Saliens community, and I think that's where the real fun of the game comes in. And I think that's how it was for the 2015 event too. People ran scripts on that, were gaming the system too, and some people really hate that, some people just want a game, but others want something to rally behind. During the Heroku ban wave, there was a fork of SalienCheat. They came up with this guy named Mistith. He or she was basically trying to create a fork of SalienCheat where Heroku would accept it, like it would have the proper user agent thing returned or whatever, but people still got banned using that anyways, and I believe that Heroku just doesn't want people using their service for SalienCheat. So with Heroku banning that, people have been trying to turn to other free hosting sites. I was looking into some of these, and one I came across, people were talking about Google Cloud, and so I looked into Google Firebase, which I think it's more geared around developers and stuff, so this is probably something different, but I couldn't really find where to run something with like PHP or whatever on the Firebase. And I think Heroku was everyone's best option, and I think that Google Cloud, I believe you have to put in your credit card for Google Cloud anyways, and I believe Amazon has something similar to Google Cloud that you also have to put in your credit card. I think it's free, but you still have to put in your credit card, so free in the sense that it's free now, but they might charge your card later sort of thing. Yeah, I think Heroku was definitely the best option for scripting, but now that they're banning everyone, your best bet is just run it on your own computer, or give your key to a generous individual who will just run the script on their computer with your token. Have you ever tried using cloud services or hosting code or whatever in the cloud?
No, I haven't.
Did you see today they added bosses to the game?
I didn't actually.
Well,
what are...
So, when a planet is getting defeated, like right at the end of the planet, a boss spawns with like a ton of health. They even increased it. Like the first one was like, I think, only like 10 million or so, but they increased it to like 1 billion.
Only 10 million or so.
Yeah, they increased its health to like 10 billion or like not 10 billion, like a billion. People have even started using scripts for the bosses as well. Yeah, that shows how quick the community is to get on these boss levels. The bosses are really cool. They give you tons of XP, so if you haven't been scripting hard, this is where you're going to get that catch-up to try to get the level 6 badge. So, like, the original, there was a ton of speculation about these boss levels before they came out. Like, on the very first day, there was a boss trading card. Like, there was a literal trading card that said, like, Doldrum boss. People, were like, where is this? Why isn't this in the game? And so, people are speculating for, like, a week. Like, where's the boss? Is he going to give us a lot of XP or whatever? And there was even a leak from the Steam translation. Do you know about Steam translation?
No.
Basically, people volunteer to translate just like lines of dialogue from the game and put them into different languages like that they know. And so you can sign up for it and translate whatever. And so it got leaked that, some of these lines were like having to do with Salient bosses. And so people were like, oh, they're about to add it. And sure enough, today they ended up adding it. And you can get millions of XP, which is awesome. You can get like, full levels all at once. Stuff that would usually take you like 10 hours, you can just get in one swoop with just a boss. And now with the SalienCheat script is updated, you can probably get the level 6 badge if you've been scripting thus far. I did end up playing on one of these boss levels. I played on 2 of them actually. The first one, I only got like 150,000 like XP from, something like that. But the next one I got a couple million from. It was pretty good. Like that one the second one I did lasted a ton longer than the first one. I think they're definitely scaling it based on people scripting and stuff like that. Do you have anything to say?
Nope. Except I should probably start scripting, because I haven't been doing that.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's fun. If you want, I can send you the script I have if you want.
Yeah.
You'll need to have your Salien token. You'll need to know that. There's just a link. You just go to it, and then you just copy and paste your token. As long as you're signed into Steam, you just copy and paste your token into it, so that way it knows who to mine for, you know? I'll send you that.
You see all this Bitcoin mining going on? The next big thing is going to be Saliens farming.
Yeah, that's the thing. Someone did post that to the subreddit a few days ago, and I agree. It is a lot like Bitcoin mining. People using their electricity to get these arbitrary things. Well, I guess Bitcoins and cryptocurrency in general aren't really arbitrary. You can actually make money off of those. In this case, it's pretty arbitrary. It's just like a little number on a badge on your Steam profile. But it's, once you get the level 6 badge, that's going to be a pretty rare badge, I'm imagining. So you won't want to miss out. So have you interacted with the community at all? You said you've been on the subreddit like once?
Yeah, I was on the subreddit for like a few minutes once.
Yeah. Well, I guess you're interacting with the community right now, right?
I suppose so.
You're offering your opinions on the current state of Saliens. And I guess this would be a good time to talk about, what we plan on doing with this podcast. If all goes well, I want to have 6 episodes of this. I want to have today, and then the next 5 days. The event goes on for 5 days longer after today. I want to make this a daily thing up until the event ends on July 4th. Yeah, I want to hear from you guys. So, like I said, this podcast is all about the Saliens community. And so I want to hear from the Saliens community. What are your thoughts on the podcast? What do you want to hear us talk about? Give us your opinions, and we'll definitely give them a mention next episode. And I think that'd be really cool if we heard from you guys. All right. Well, I think that's about it in Salien news. Well, I guess we'll see you guys tomorrow for the next episode of the Saliens Podcast. And this has been csticks, or otherwise known as RenovatedMars. And
King Tomato.
And we'll see you tomorrow.